A lot has changed since our initial 2024 top 10 sneaker releases. Now we got even more classic Jordan colorways, even bigger collaborations, and even more grails that we've waited years to see. Kicking it off, we got the Jordan 1 Black Toe Reimagined. These were initially supposed to release in 2023, then they were apparently canceled, but now they're officially set for 2024. Specifically, they're set to release during holiday 2024, sometime around December, for $180. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if they put anything other than leather on these, I'm gonna be really fucking pissed. From what I've heard though, it's supposed to be just like the Jordan 1 Lost and Found, aka the Jordan 1 Chicago Reimagined, so that's gonna be your typical aged look, vintage vibe, which I think is the best way to execute these reimagined colorways. It's a whole lot better than those Jordan 1 Outlet Royals. What a an abomination those were, and if that happens to these, they're going straight to the outlets most likely. Hopefully Jordan Brand took some notes. But if they are leather, being a classic colorway, you could definitely expect these to be very profitable with a great margin, just like the Chicago Reimagined pair. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely need these for the toe though. Also, just like the Jordan 1 Chicago Reimagined, you could definitely expect these to have an early shock drop. Endurance always has your back with shock drop info and much more beyond just sneaker reselling, like concert ticket reselling, stock investing, sports betting promotions, Amazon FBA, price glitches, and much more, all on that same link below. But I also make completely free sneaker guides with links, tips, and even urgent notifications, all for free on that same link below. Not to mention, you also get one free channel from Endurance on that same link, no strings attached, which is currently the free Chick-fil-A channel. Yes, I'll show you guys how you can get Chick-fil-A for completely free almost every single day. And those free guides and notifications are definitely going to come in handy for big drops like the Jordan 4 Military Blue. These are going to be dropping on May 11th for $215. Now, these look very similar to the Jordan 4 Military Black, the main difference being, of course, that rather than black, the accents are blue, and not only that, but this is also a classic colorway, and thus you got that beautiful Nike Air on the back that we all love. They're going to look incredible on feet, and I would expect these to be profitable too, with a good margin, potentially even better on the large sizes, but I wouldn't expect them to perform as well as the Military Blacks. Also, of course, making the top 10 list, we got some Travis Scott Jordan 1s, but it's not just one pair. And starting off with some more recent news, we got a really obscure colorway, and this time it's coming in yellow and blue. Definitely rare for Travis Scott, considering the usual colorways are more along the lines of green and brown and black and white, so this is definitely unique, but it is inspired by his high school, which was Elkins High Knights. Now, these are definitely out there, but if you could manage to pull these off, you're definitely going to be breaking a lot of necks out there. Not only that, but you could expect these to be extremely profitable with an incredible margin when they do drop. Expect them to resell for at least $500, potentially even more than that. I don't know how I feel about this Travis colorway, but it definitely is nice to see that they're doing something a little more unique compared to the traditional colorways, kind of like what we saw on the Jordan 4 Travis Scott in blue and red. I was a really big fan of those, and I can't say I like these as much as those, but I do like that it's a little bit different. Anyway, these are going to be dropping in summer of 2024 for $150, and again, expect these to be very profitable with an incredible margin, full throttle. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more conservative and more traditional in terms of Travis Scott collaborations, we got another Jordan 1 Travis Scott low dropping, and this time it is the olive colorway, but for men's. We already saw a women's version drop, and those are pretty nice too, but I definitely prefer this colorway. Not to mention, we also got some more unique materials on these. It looks like there's a nubuck or suede kind of upper combined with the leather swoosh. These definitely look really solid, and I think they're coming with multiple different laces which you could customize too. So this is a really solid pair, especially if you love those traditional Travis Scott colorways. Not only that, but you could definitely expect these two to be very profitable with an incredible margin. Definitely full throttle on these, and even the preschool and toddler pairs will be profitable too. And next up, also making the top 10, of course, we got a Jordan 11, and like all hype Jordan 11s, these are going to be dropping around holiday season, specifically December 14th for $230, and this is the Jordan 11 Columbia, aka the Jordan 11 Legend Blue. This is one of my favorite Jordan 11s, and I remember when they re-released back in 2014, I wasn't able to afford these, but now being a little bit older, I could finally get another chance to get these. I've always been a fan of that all-white upper, especially with the white patent leather, and you got that icy outsole outsole combined with the blue accents, making these one of the cleanest Jordan 11s out there. I'm a huge fan of these, and if you do want a pair just as bad as me, you're in luck because they shouldn't be too difficult to get, considering there should be around 1 million pairs of these produced, very similar to the Jordan 11 DMP or Jordan 11 Gratitude that we saw this year, just like a lot of these classic holiday Jordan 11s, so you should be able to get these relatively easily as long as you don't sleep in. But with that, I also wouldn't expect these to be too profitable. At best, maybe you can make a little bit of profit selling these locally, but because of the high stock, I'm pretty skeptical of overall profitability, especially with the retail of $230. But nonetheless, it's making the top 10 list because it's a Jordan 11 that a lot of people like myself are really looking forward to. Now, next up on the list, we got another Jordan Reimagined and another Jordan 4. This time it is the Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined, and while they didn't exactly just give these the vintage vibe, and they did change the materials too, I would say this is an exception. I think these still came out pretty nice. I'm personally still a fan with the Jordan 4 with nubuck on them, specifically this bread colorway, but I can't complain. They still look pretty solid in leather. Not only that, but it's going to make these more durable too. You're going to be able to wear these out in the rain with no problem compared to the nubuck getting completely ruined. But these are going to be dropping on February 17th for $215, and I definitely think even with the changed material, it's a bread Jordan 4. A lot of people are going to be really excited about these. These should still be profitable with a good margin, especially in those large sizes, and potential lunch money on those smaller sizes too. And if you didn't know, the date they're dropping, February 17th, is going to be for Jordan's 61st birthday, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do something funny around there, so keep your eyes open. Now, next up, making the list, we got another collaboration, specifically the Amma Manere Jordan 3 and Jordan 4 Burgundy Crush and Phantom. These are definitely big releases to look forward to, not only in terms of the Jordans themselves, but the release method should be pretty fun. There should be some new domain type of release, making it really great for manual users, so you all have a pretty decent chance of copying these. Now, usually when it does come to these types of releases, Endurance does have early domains, so again, just a reminder, you could consider joining with the link below. And remember, we do so much more than sneaker reselling too, but otherwise, we do also offer free guides on that same link below, so check it out. But anyway, both of these colorways should be pretty promising. While we only have the colorway codes, which I'll put on the screen right now, we only have a mock-up, unfortunately, so we're not 100% how these are going to look, but Amma Manere does typically do a pretty good job, and I'm a fan of their style of giving them sort of an aged look, especially with their more earthy tone colorways. I think they're going to turn out great. Now, I wouldn't expect them to perform as well as the initial Jordan 3 and Jordan 4, but nonetheless, I do still think there is going to be room for profitability on these with a decent to good margin, because I do still think that the retail is probably going to be somewhat high on these. But it's going to be a great release to look forward to, whether you're planning to resell either of these or if you just want personal pairs for yourselves, and I know I definitely need these for the collection. Now, next up, of course, the Jordan 3 J Balvin Rio has got to stay on the list because of how much excitement there was for the white pair that released in 2023, so a lot of people are definitely going to be really excited for this black pair too. Aside from the fact that the upper is going to be black rather than white, it is essentially the same shoe, and a lot of people really like that rainbow design on the midsole of the sneaker and the heel tab, and even the outsole of the sneaker. Overall, it's definitely a very unique Jordan, something that we don't typically see, and being mostly black should be pretty wearable too, despite these crazy colors. Despite a retail of $250, I would still expect these to be profitable with a decent to good margin, given how the white pair performed, but I wouldn't expect them to do as well as those white pairs. Now, next up, we got another Jordan 4. This time, it's a return of the Jordan 4 Fear. I know a lot of people are really hyped about these too. If you've been in the game a long time, you'll remember when these re-released not too long ago. I believe it was back in 2012 or 2013. I wasn't able to get my hands on a pair, but now I'm finally able to get a second chance at them, so I'm super happy. I know a lot of you guys could relate, but if you're new to the game, you gotta appreciate these two just because of how wearable they are. You can put these on with almost every single outfit and still look fly. Not only that, but they do still catch some attention with that unique design they have on the midsole with the paint splatter. Anyway, these are going to be dropping in holiday 2024 for $210. Given how high demand has been for Jordan 4 colorways, I don't think this one is an exception. I think this one will be profitable with a decent to good margin in large sizes, potentially slightly less than that, but we will see. Now, also, we got to keep the Jordan Jumpman Jack Trainer on the list, and from what I understand, the Trainer is going to be sort of a mid version of the regular Jordan Jumpman Jack, and there's going to be multiple individual colorways of each of these releasing throughout the year, some of which starting in spring and the others going all the way to summer, and I'm pretty sure the trainers, at least in this taupe colorway, are going to be dropping in fall. Now I do think retail is going to be $180 for all of these, potentially slightly more for those trainers, but I'm not 100% as of now. Right now the info is pretty vague, but what I could tell you for sure is you could definitely expect all these colorways to definitely be profitable with a very good to great margin. And we got a pretty solid look right now at the sale colorway, that of which is dropping pretty soon sometime in spring, so that's something to look forward to that isn't too far away. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated on all the release info for these, so make sure you subscribe and enable post notifications. From what we know now though, it does look like we're going to be getting a lot of different colorways for these, and of course all of them come with that unique new design that we haven't seen before. It's got that unique strap on there, which I think is pretty cool. It's definitely something unconventional for Jordan, so you do like to see something different, and they do look pretty wearable too, especially in the colorways that we've seen so far, so I'm definitely really excited to see these come out. And last but not least, because this list was in no particular order, in fact in the comments below I want you to tell me which one you're most excited for, and also tell me which ones I missed out on the list. But last but not least, we got the Jordan 3 Black Cat, and I had to add these in because of how hyped the Jordan 4 Black Cat is right now. When those initially released, believe it or not, they actually sat on shelves, but as demand increased for them, in addition to some macroeconomic factors that we've talked a lot about on this channel, those skyrocketed in price, and I do think consequently a lot of that demand should carry over to the Jordan 3 Black Cats. Not only that, but all black in general has been trending a lot more now than it has been before, and of course you can't go wrong with this classic Jordan 3. It's all black, it's going to match every single one of your outfits. It's a clean Jordan 3, and a lot of people have been waiting a really long time for these. I'm personally really excited to get another chance at these. If you're looking at these pics right now, these are actually from the 2007 pair. We've waited a long time for this release, guys. And with that, I do think that these should be profitable with a decent margin, potentially even a good margin. Nothing crazy because they are a Jordan 3, but I do think this is definitely going to be one of the better Jordan 3 colorways, and they might even continue to increase in value over time, just like what we saw in the Jordan 4 Black Cat. Now, with that being the end of my top 10, here are some honorable mentions. We got the Jordan 4 White Thunder. These are coming in August of 2024 for $215. You could essentially expect these to look just like the red or yellow Thunders, but instead of the accents being red or yellow, of course they're going to be white, making these a lot more wearable, and I would expect these to have some potential for some lunch money, potentially slightly more than that, nothing crazy. And I also wanted to give an honorable mention to the Jordan 1 High Women's Legend Medium Brown, of course, because there's going to be a lot of demand for these being very close to a Travis Scott colorway, so if you can't afford a pair of Travis Scotts and you really want something very similar to that vibe, you could go with these. These are going to be a lot more affordable, and even though Jordan 1 hype hasn't been too high lately, unfortunately, this colorway should definitely still perform well. I would expect these to be profitable with a decent to good margin, at least potentially even more than that. Also, an honorable mention to the Jordan 11 Low Space Jam. If these were the mids, they'd definitely be making the top 10 list, just like the Legend Blue 11s, but because they're lows, I decided to keep them out. But again, because they're lows, they should be really solid for summer, and of course, this is a classic colorway, and they're beautiful, so a lot of us are still really looking forward to these. Anyway, they're going to be dropping April 13th, just in time for the end of spring and start of summer for $190, so I'm not expecting these to really be profitable, mostly just personals, but it's definitely a pair that I want in my collection. And last but not least, for honorable mentions, we got the Jordan 9 Powder Blue. These are going to be dropping on March 23rd for $210. I decided to keep these off just because there isn't a lot of demand for Jordan 9s in general, but I do think that this colorway in particular was definitely worth talking about in today's video, because I know a lot of people have waited a long time for these. Not only that, but the UNC colorway in general is loved by many. Anyway, I do think that this will be the first Jordan 9 in a long time to have some potential for some lunch money or more than that. Anyway, that's going to conclude it for my top 10 and honorable mentions. If I forgot to mention any that you felt should be on here, definitely mention it in the comments below and let me know which one was your favorite. Also, don't forget to check out Endurance with the link below. We do so much more than just sneaker reselling, and of course, don't forget to get those completely free sneaker updates and free Chick-fil-A on that same link below. Other than that, though, have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on all these upcoming releases.